What's up? It's your boy, P Nut, coming at you with another reaction. And before we get into this, welcome to the Peanut Gallery, y'all. And today, we'll be reacting to the latest from Olama Sama, the worst plot armor moments of all time. Enough talk, let's get into this. Love the intro. Let's go.
Google, plot armor is defined as the phenomena in fiction whereby the main character is allowed to survive dangerous situations because they are needed for the plot to continue. It's common to hear people referring to characters having plot armor when they are able to succeed in certain scenarios that should almost guarantee a failure. So in today's video, I want to talk about some of the more infamous cases of plot armor I can find in fiction, with each case ranging from minor offense to completely asinine. But first, I think we need to understand what can actually be considered plot armor. After all, a singular definition can only do so much. Plot armor can extend to a lot of different situations, whether it be a character winning a fight they should have lost or escaping certain death. Shoot, some people see power-ups as a form of plot armor, but something that gets misconstrued is the fact that characters will need at least a little bit of plot armor to keep the story going. We are well aware that at least half of these series' goals is to stop a villain by the end of the run, so it's only natural to have characters push past improbable circumstances or just not take as much damage as they should. It not only creates tension, but also keeps characters available for more plot lines later on. And besides, I think we can all imagine how a series without plot armor would look like. Yes, I'm looking at you. And in my opinion, the problem isn't necessarily just characters conveniently winning impossible fights or getting power-ups. The problem lies more so in the reasoning behind said conveniences. You can easily justify power-ups if it makes sense and is consistent with the story. Naruto has been seen losing control over the Nine-Tails when emotions are running high, so we should not be shocked when he gets stronger when those conditions are satisfied. The problem with plot armor arises when a character has something go their way with no explanation.
That's it. Say he should be hit by a car several times.
Straight BS. This is when people gotta craft some random theories to try to make sense of why their favorite characters survive certain doom. But you know what's even worse than no explanation? A bad explanation. People love using the reasoning that a series gives and treat it as irrefutable logic. They'll be like, bro, they explained why Batman survived that fall. It's because of his suit. Which, okay, that makes sense if the fall was from a window or something. However, how strong can this suit be to allow him to survive a fall from space, hitting the ground at terminal velocity, and standing up like he only stubbed a toe?
This is damn lie.
Another example of a BS explanation is when Tanjiro just pulled thunder breathing out of his butt. We're running at full sprint for who knows how long, and then all of a sudden your leg gives out? Once I seen this, I was already looking at this scene kind of funny. Then he remembers a random conversation with Zenitsu about thunder breathing and can just do it like that? Terrible plot armor.
Yeah, that's trash.
I just wanted to hate on Demon Slayer, but I won't lie. I know this whole thing makes sense because all other breathings are derived from sun breathing. So naturally, someone who has sun breathing can also do the other breathing techniques fairly easily. The explanation checks out, but this is one of those cases where I just have to accept that a lot of the theatrics were done for entertainment. And plus, I don't even need to bring up a moment like this if I wanted to talk about plot armor and Tanjiro. This demon should have murked Tanjiro multiple times during this battle. Better breathing shouldn't be helping injuries from attacks like this. But that's neither here nor there. I can ignore these moments because they are ultimately a net positive for the series and aren't really plot bending. It's a bit harder to ignore the plot armor of someone like Reiner from Attack on Titan. I feel like it was established fairly early on that he wasn't like that when it comes to the Titan.
He be getting pat constantly. How are you alive?
Win, if not for Burrito's interference. Seeing him get dog walked by Eren, who wasn't even that experienced at that point, was enough for me to realize that Reiner was not built for any of these battles.
No,
and it turned out that those spots were not even headcanon. He was dead, not even meant to be on this mission. So anytime I see him have a near-death experience, I just kind of roll my eyes. His existence after the second season is kind of mind-boggling. I know he's a Titan shifter, but seriously, some of these things he's surviving surely bring up at least some questions. Realistically,
he should have been clapped right there.
He should have been cooked. And we'll ignore the fact that Levi had enough time to stab him twice, but not slice off his head for some reason. We'll ignore that. Not like it would have mattered anyways. One of the places Levi hit was the neck, and Reiner didn't even struggle to transform. This is when we learned that he transferred his brain's consciousness to the rest of his body to transform.
What?
And he does it again when he's able to regenerate after his head gets blown off. I mean, like, sure, it's explained, and it's not really a bad explanation either. And Loki just feels like we really need Reiner to survive. So let's let him have this one thing so he doesn't get absolutely cooked in these battles. But fine, whatever. I can get over myself. But this type of stuff happens so often throughout the series.
Right, he constantly getting this shit.
Armor Titan. It feels like Reiner's whole existence has been him being unable to die.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. Jaden, that's kind of like one of the main points of his character. Still plot armor, though. Another wild case of plot armor was Luffy versus Crocodile. I feel like this is one of the more blatant examples of a character having plot armor. Luffy was no match for Crocodile. Crocodile was untouchable in this fight.
Crocodile
Literally, this
on
fight
a
was
different
honestly
level.
just a showcase for all of Crocodile's abilities. This was the first fight Luffy straight up lost, and he got stabbed in the torso because of it. And what did we even expect? He fought Crocodile in a freaking desert. This man Luffy was battered, bloodied, and abandoned in a ditch. There was no debating it. Luffy was dead to rights here. But then at Def's doorstep, Robin comes to save him because of Plow. Okay, what do you want me to say?
He's
we
the
can say
MC.
that Robin was
Come
furious
on,
because of his
man.
initial D, but at this point in the story, Robin was not a Straw Hat. She had no reason to help Luffy for real. So this just happened to make sure Luffy stayed alive for the rest of the story. But I'm fair. I'll let that one slide because it's the main character. This isn't even the worst piece of plot armor in Alabasta. And I think we all know who I'm referring to. It's our avian friend, Pell. During the final battle of the arc, there was a bomb that was threatening to destroy a large chunk of Alabarna, the capital of Alabasta. Pell grabbed this bomb, carried it into the sky, and sacrificed himself to get the bomb away from everyone. It's very noble to use your own life to save thousands of others.
Right.
What? Is this a flashback or something? Why is he still alive? Pell should have been in someone's air fryer at this point. The only way the bomb could have had a cleaner hit on him is if he ate the dang thing. Mind you, this bomb was getting hyped up a lot throughout the last parts of the arc, and Pell just comes out of it unscathed, no explanation. I dare one of you guys to give me a good explanation as to why someone could survive.
Not
and
the
I'm
MC.
Out someone talks about him being a peregrine falcon. And before I get into one of the main perpetrators of having claw armor, if you're enjoying this video so far and you're new, you might as well subscribe.
Yeah, make sure you're
let's talk
sub,
about
man.
our favorite hero, Batman.
Oh, boy.
In this video, because let's keep it a buck. This whole video could be about Batman and his claw armor. He's the main one guilty of it. First, let's get this out the way. Almost every single fight between him and Superman is already riddled with claw armor for Batman. It makes sense why it happens, but it's still BS.
Because Batman's a human.
Because it goes
Superman should clap him. That suit is a gadget. He's saving him.
Has works on him, and any attack he throws at him gets shrugged off. Granted, this is their first encounter in this universe, so Batman doesn't have the dreaded two-word phrase we don't speak of. Nevertheless, any
prep
fight between
time.
Batman and Superman should go something like this. Batman cannot keep up with super speed as a human. You can't even use the argument of Superman not wanting to hurt Batman because he wasn't even trying to murk him in this fight. He was trying to get info out of him the entire time. I guess we just forget Superman has super speed or something. He doesn't even need to knock out Batman. He can just incapacitate him in the blink of an eye.
Right, it should be over.
Unless Superman gets snuck with it. There's no way a simple rocket power punch is knocking down Superman like this. Batman's plot armor also extends past Superman to other powerful beings as well. Remember that one time Batman one-shot Sinestro with the Batarang? Don't rewind, you heard what I said. Remember that one time Sinestro, one of the strongest members of the Lantern Corps, knocked out in one hit by a Batarang. What the heck is this thing made of? The most powerful
vibranium,
countered by a freaking boomerang shaped as a bat. I'd argue that superhero media like Marvel and DC are even more guilty of plot armor than anime. Like, you'll see a regular person like the Punisher who bleeds the same way as you and me, beating up people like Doctor Doom and Wolverine. Cause that makes sense. With that type of plot armor, give me 5 months and a bunch of weapons, and I'll beat the Fantastic Four by myself. Moving back to anime, we have one of the more infamous examples of plot armor, Killer Bee versus Sasuke. Let's get this out the way. Sasuke probably should have lost this fight. This fight was one of the most disrespectful and embarrassing.
Yeah, he punished Sasuke. Killer Bee was on timing,
writing rhymes and clowning his entire crew. If Karin weren't there to heal him, Sasuke obviously would have been packed up way earlier. Even when Sasuke caught Bee in a genjutsu, Bee just got up and hit Sasuke with a lightning lariat.
This should have been KO right there.
An understatement. Sasuke's neck, organs, and chest were all severely injured. But after getting healed yet again, Sasuke gets up and uses Amaterasu to win the fight. Just like that. Sasuke was dead to 3 times in this fight, but he somehow
should have been clapped.
Nothing suspicious going on over here. Like, this isn't even me trying to call Sasuke weak. There just should have been another way to showcase Killer Bee's strength without Sasuke dapping up the Grim Reaper every 5 minutes. The way it was done originally makes it look like Sasuke has crazy plot armor. Switching up the media again, I want to look at a popular movie series that is riddled with plot armor. It's the Karate Kid series. The Mr. Miyagi meat writer himself, Daniel LaRusso, should have lost like 2 of these finals in these movies. For context, Johnny was the champion for the past 2 years. Then Daniel comes in with a couple weeks of karate experience and wins with the injured leg. Fine,
that was
whatever,
BS, bro.
For a happy ending. It's something we can all expect at this point. However, that's not the worst case in the series. In the final movie of the trilogy, Daniel was flat out losing the entire time in the finals, and this was the plan, to make sure Daniel knows pain. However, it only took one moment for Daniel to focus, and he scores a point on the guy who was thrashing him the entire fight. I know he was scared before, so it was effective in the fight, but
just running too.
That being the only thing that changed. Matt was beating him consistently throughout the movie, and it wasn't really close either. But 10 seconds of kata and a speech from Mr. Miyagi changed that. Either Matt Barnes is dumb as bricks, or Daniel LaRusso was just that much better better at karate.
Yeah, it's
So
the
yeah, Matt Barnes
MC
is just
plot
dumb as
armor.
bricks. And contrary to popular belief, plot armor also exists in real life. Let me paint the scenario for you.
Okay.
Imagine in the One Piece universe, pirate crews were able to trade crew members between each other. Imagine after Wano, after Luffy just beat one of the emperors of the sea in Kaido, Zoro looks at him and says to himself, yeah, I don't think this guy can lead us anymore, so I'm gonna send him somewhere else. And then in the middle of the night, Zoro talks to Shanks of all people and trades Luffy for Ben Beckman without telling any of the other Straw Hats. He also just throws Usopp in the trade because why not? What I've just described to you is the best analogy I can think of when explaining the Luka Doncic trade in anime terms. The trade makes no sense and there's no justification for it besides plot armor. It's the only thing that can make sense. I'd also say that character revivals can be considered plot armor depending on the circumstances. This rings true even more when there's no good explanation as to why it happened. Guess which series I'm going to use? Just guess. Ding, 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 ding. It's The Flash. For context, Iris West just dies because Barry hits her with Speed Force Lightning. I would say it's a long story, but that's just what happens. So she should be out of the story at this point, right? Apparently, she's one of the ones who can just choose not to be dead anymore. That's
what?
The only
How?
you
can't choose
Since
that.
She's not supposed to be dead. She can just be like, no, and come back to life. Okay, this last portion of the video is a bit personal to me, and I'm honestly wondering if this even counts as plot armor. I'm not going to directly spoil the series I'm talking about, but if you find yourself reading into clues too often, skip to this time of the video. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to spoil the series, so skip to the time. Nobara's revival at the end of the manga was rushed to the point it felt like plot armor was on the hero's side, and I knew this would happen. When we got confirmation the manga was ending in 5 chapters, I said that it's probably going to get rushed, which basically anyone could see coming. Yet when Nobara came back in the next chapter, I saw people saying that it was done well because of foreshadowing. Just because something got explained doesn't mean it was done well. She wakes up like 20 minutes before the fights end and helps each story deal the finishing blow. The reason why I think it looks so crazy is because if the anime adapts the manga 1-to-1, Nobara's gonna show up like 1 minute before the fight ends and then just help deal the finishing blow and then Sukuna's done for. Does that not look like plot armor? Hypothetical time again. Imagine during the Namek saga after Vegeta got done coughing up blood every 5 seconds, he was buried by Goku with this condition unknown. Events in the rest of the arc could go as normal as they can without Vegeta, but anytime we mention him, people are just extremely vague about his whereabouts. Like Shenron is shrugging his shoulders if they try to wish him back. Fast forward to the Cell saga, and things happen as close as they possibly can get to the original series without Vegeta being there. That means Cell gets his perfect form, the Cell games still happen, go on, transform, Goku dies, etc., etc. Then during the final beam clash, when Cell looks like he's about to win, boom, Vegeta shows up and sneak attacks Cell, allowing Gohan to win. And the so-called foreshadowing is characters being super cryptic about his whereabouts. Would it technically make sense? Yeah. Would it be done well? No, not at all. You would say that Gohan has plot armor if something like that happened. That's somewhat similar to what happened in JJK.
True.
Like, yes, I was happy to see Nobara return, but we gotta be real with ourselves sometimes. It being done like this makes it seem like plot armor. I'm low-key realizing I just took this opportunity to rant about the JJK manga, but I think it's well warranted. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and special thanks to making it this far. Let me know if y'all want a part 2 to this video, because I'm sure there are hundreds of instances of plot armor I didn't even mention. Also, I know there's been a noticeable absence on the channel, but I feel like at this point, it's better for me to not give y'all empty promises all the time and just go out there and do my thing. With that being said, have a great day, and peace out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Make sure y'all sub to his channel, man. Straight up. But yeah, plot armor happens a lot. Animes, cartoons, movies, real life, you name it. It happens a lot. Some of it does make sense. Others, it's like, what the hell? What the hell just happened? But it's mainly the MC. I get you want storylines, you want shit to carry on for things to come together later on in the stories, man. But damn, certain people, like deaths that happen that make sense, like how are you coming back from that? It's like, ain't no way. You should be RIP, you should be seeing Jesus, man. But instead, man, that plot armor kick in, and it's like, it just leaves you flabbergasted. Like, how? But plot armor exists, especially in the Batman universe. This man is a human being. He be beating superheroes, like superhuman type people up. Not superheroes, but superhuman type powers. And he's a regular human. But that dude gets prep level, Batman level prep time. It's a wrap for the villain, man. Shit is crazy out here. But like I said, man, make sure y'all follow this man, Ola Masama. This man makes dope content, and please, like I said, please follow him. That's my reaction. The worst plot armor moments of all time. And unfortunately, these type of situations will continue. And before I end the video, thank y'all so much for supporting the channel. Appreciate it, man. Hope everybody has a blessed day. I'm out. One love. Yeet.